Hello guys, here's Programming to Inspire, and today we are gonna build Snake in Java. First create a project, call it Snake. Now we have to create two classes. First one will be called Snake and the second one Game. Put Snake class in the com.programmingtoinspire.snake package. The second class Game, we should put it in the other package, so let's delete it and put it in the package com.programmingtoinspire.snake.game. The game class will have a constructor, public game, and it will also have an update method and a render method. So public void render. Now let's get a Snake. Snake extends canvas, implements runnable, and import those two. Main method will be also in Snake, and let's import run from runnable. Now let's create a constructor, public Snake, and some methods like public void start, public void stop, and also public void update and render. Now let's get some variables for the Snake class. First, get the serial version UID, public static final int width is equal to 800 and height is equal to 480. Public static float scale is equal to 1.0f. Public thread public boolean running is equal to false. Public jframe frame and public game. Import those. Now public static buffered image is equal to new buffered image, parameters width, height, and buffered image dot type int RGB. Now we have to create a pixel array for the buffered image, public static int array. Pixels is equal to casting data buffer int from image get raster, get data buffer, and get data. In the constructor, let's set preferred size to new dimension. Parameters will be casted to integers, width times scale and height times scale. That will create our preferred size of the window. Frame is equal to new jframe and game is equal to new game. Now let's create a new instance of Snake in the main method. Snake is equal to new Snake. Snake.frame.set resizable to false. Snake.frame.set title to Snake. Snake.frame.add Snake. Snake.frame.pack. Snake.frame.set set default close operation to jframe.exit on close. That will make us able to close the window. Snake.frame.set visible to true. Snake.frame.set location, set location relative, so set location relative to null. Snake.frame.set always on top to true. And now let's call the snake.start method. In snake.start will make our running to true and initialize thread variable is equal to new thread. This comma snake loop thread that will call a run method thread.start to call it. Once in the stop method we will join our thread that will kill our thread when called stop. Surround it with try and catch. In the run method we'll create our game loop that will call update 60 times a second and render how many times computer can handle. So double last time in nanoseconds is equal to system.nanotime. It's not a double, it's a long. Long timer is equal to system.currentTime millis. Final double nanoseconds per update is equal to 1 followed by 9 zeros, 0.0 divided by 60.0. Double updates to perform is equal to 0. Int updates is equal to 0 and int frames is equal to 0. Now let's request focus that will put our window into the focus. Our while loop while running. First create a variable long current time in nanoseconds is equal to system.nanotime. Updates to perform plus equals the difference of current time minus last time divided both divided by nanoseconds per update. That will return us a variable from 0 to 1. How many updates should there be? I mean, that returns us how many updates should be between the while loop iterations. So now while updates to perform is greater or equal to 1, call updates plus plus and updates to perform minus minus, and otherwise render and frames plus plus. If system.currentTime milliseconds minus timer is greater than 1000, we will display how many updates has been called in that second and how many renders, and we'll do that, but first we have to increment timer by 1000. And now let's call frame.set title and output how many updates and frames has been called in a second here. Now let's reset the updates and frames variable. Updates is equal to 0 and frames is equal to 0, and after the while running loop calls stop, so we kill our thread. We missed a bracket. Now let's test it, and it's called update is called 60 times a second, so it works properly. game.update in the update method, and in the render method we have to create a buffer strategy. Buffer strategy bs is equal to get buffer strategy. If bs is equal to null, let's create a buffer strategy. Create buffer strategy with 3 buffers and return. That's important. Game.render. Now we need to create a graphics 2D object. G is equal to casting graphics 2D from bs.getDrawGraphics. G.drawImage parameters will be image 0, 0, and our width and height that are width times scale and height times scale have to be integers though. And the image observer will be null. G.dispose and bs.show. Now we should have a black screen because our pixel array is all initialized to 0 by default. So if we change those pixels, the screen should change. So for int I is equal to 0, int I is less than snake.pixels.length, semicolon e++ is equal snake.pixels I is equal to 0x ff00. That is giving us a yellow screen, so it works. Now let's create skip some pixels. Let's say 100 and 1000 pixels should be skipped, so it won't be colored in yellow. We have to call it again because it doesn't redraw it. So yes, now they are skipping. One is in the first row and one is in the second.